The Senate chamber was silent, eerily silent. The air was thick with tension, as if the entire nation were holding its breath. On one side sat Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, her expression firm and composed, the embodiment of authority and intellect. On the other sat Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, his southern charm masking a razor-sharp wit and an iron will. No one could have predicted what would happen next. The moment began like many others in Washington, a calm, procedural, routine, a line of questioning, a difference in ideology. But as Kennedy leaned forward, his voice calm yet edged with steel, it became clear this was no ordinary exchange. He challenged Justice Jackson on a controversial court interpretation, one that had divided legal scholars and citizens alike. Jackson, confident and articulate, responded swiftly, determined to shut down his point before it gained momentum. But what was meant to be a decisive rebuttal soon took a turn no one expected. Kennedy, with his trademark blend of humor and disarming honesty, began to unpack her argument piece by piece, calmly, methodically, and with the surprising touch of humanity. Respectfully, Justice, he said, when law stops speaking plain English, people stop trusting it. The words hung in the air like thunder. Even Jackson, known for her composure, hesitated. The room shifted. It wasn't anger that followed up, it was reflection. What made this exchange so powerful wasn't confrontation, but conviction. Kennedy didn't attack her character, he defended the people, the ordinary Americans who often feel silenced by legal language and political games. He spoke not as a senator defending a party line, but as a man who understood the frustrations of everyday citizens. And Jackson, to her credit, didn't retreat into pride. She listened, recalibrated, and for a fleeting moment, you could see something remarkable: mutual respect. The back and forth grew into one of the most emotionally charged dialogues seen in years. Jackson countered with passion, insisting that the law's complexity protects rights and freedoms too nuanced for oversimplification. Kennedy, unflinching, replied that law should not only serve justice, it should speak justice. The exchange became more than politics, it became a conversation about how America communicates truth and fairness in an age of division. By the time it ended, the mood in the chamber had transformed. What started as a clash had turned into something strangely unifying. Commentators later called it a moment of American honesty, a rare glimpse of two powerful minds colliding, not to destroy each other, but to demand better of a system both claimed to love. Outside the chamber, the reaction was electric. Clips flooded social media. People debated not just who won the exchange, but what it meant. Some praised Kennedy's courage to stand firm. Others admired Jackson's strength in meeting fire with intellect. But beneath the noise, there was a deeper current, a sense that, for once, someone had said what millions were thinking, that law, justice, and leadership must return to common sense and humanity. In the days that followed, both Kennedy and Jackson became unexpected symbols of something greater. Their exchange reminded Americans that disagreement isn't weakness, it's the heartbeat of democracy. When done with honesty, even a verbal showdown can lead to understanding. And that's the real twist. What was meant to be a political takedown backfired, not because one person won over the other, but because the confrontation forced both sides, and the country, to look inward. It was raw, it was real, and in that rare moment, it was profoundly American. So when people say Justice Jackson tried to shut down John Kennedy and it backfired, they're not just talking about a viral clip, they're talking about the spark, a reminder that truth doesn't always come from silence or supremacy, but from the courage to speak and the grace to listen. By the end, as the lights dimmed and the cameras stopped rolling, one thing became clear: this wasn't the story of a senator versus a justice. It was the story of two voices challenging a nation to think again about what justice truly means and who it's meant to serve.